everybody. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of SO NWA, the podcast about serving others in Northwest Arkansas.
That's right, guys. We're your hosts, Juan Carlos and Enrique. I'm Enrique speaking, by the way. I said the names backwards. But we're both proud natives of Northwest Arkansas. Growing up here, we've seen the community evolve, and we're here to share the stories of the people who make it so special.
Definitely. Each episode, we sit down with the makers, the movers, and everyday legends shaping life in the Ozarks. Anywhere from real estate to restaurants to local legends to hidden gems. We're not just podcast hosts. We're also local real estate agents helping people find their next place in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, guys. So whether you're from here, you're new here, or you just love a good story, you guys are in the right place. And if you ever need any help with any real estate leads, buying, selling, or just exploring the area, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd love to help. It'd be an honor. Let's go ahead and get into it, guys.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, today on SO NWA, we're joined by Joe and Suzanne Spivey. Ms. Spivey here serves on the Rogers Public School Board, shaping the future of education in our community, while Mr. Spivey is a senior vice president at Bank OZK, helping guide local growth and opportunity. Together, they've raised their family here, invested in countless hours in service, and building deep roots in Northwest Arkansas about family, community, and what makes Rogers a special place that they and we call home. Welcome, folks.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. Thank you, Enrique. It's so great to be with you all tonight, and thank you for coming out and taking the time to talk and get to know one another. And that's what I think that's what Northwest Arkansas is about, and especially here in the Ozarks.
100%.
So great to be with you. You were talking about Northwest Arkansas, the Ozarks, and I've got to tell you, while you were making your introduction, how did we get here? We all came here from somewhere. So I got to think back to how my father got here.
Yep.
Originally.
Yep.
The first time. And I would imagine that, like your family, they were seeking opportunity, a better life. My father grew up in West Texas, northeastern New Mexico during the Great Dust Bowl and the Depression of the 1930s. Mm-hmm. And they were cattlemen, ranchers, and great storms of dust was coming in and was wiping out their cattle, wiping out their fences. The grass, there was no grass left. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather, who oftentimes traveled towards Kansas City on a train with his cattle to sell it. And while many people were going to California during the Depression, and particularly in the Dust Bowl. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather one day told my grandmother, he said, I'm going to get on a bus. And he said, I ain't getting off that bus till I see something green. Well, he ended up in West Siloam Springs, Arkansas. Now, as the story goes, he telegraphed my grandmother and said, I found something green in a place called Siloam Springs, Arkansas. And I found something else. I found a little college and an academy where the boys can get an education. It's called John Brown College and John Brown Academy. And that's how my family moved. So at a time when so many people were moving away and moving west, my father's family moved to Siloam Springs seeking a better life, seeking green grass, a place to grow cattle, and also an opportunity for his sons to get an education. And they were able to get an education and at that time, and work their way through school at John Brown Academy and John Brown College. So that's how my family first moved here. My father always loved Northwest Arkansas and Siloam Springs, but then World War II came along, and he joined the Army Air Corps, became a flight officer on a B-29, and his service in World War II was primarily he caught the very end of World War II, and he ended up taking old airplanes back to bases in Arizona and California. And then after the war, he found his way to a company called Texas Instruments, or GSI, Geophysical Services Incorporated, which ultimately led him to working in the oil fields, in oil exploration of Saudi Arabia and India. And I was born in India. After he and my mother met, they met on a ship while traveling back in those days. Ships weren't cruise ships as we see them today. They weren't the big cruiser. They were major modes of transportation, just like how you got from the East Coast to Europe. And my mother and he met on a ship. My mother's from Boston, Massachusetts, and had never really heard much about Arkansas. And my dad talked about how he wanted to get back to Arkansas, and he wanted to have a cattle farm. He wanted to have a cattle ranch. And so they were living in India, and ultimately I was born in India, and they resettled in Arkansas. So this was his second time to come back to Northwest Arkansas. So my mother came. My mother had never been to Arkansas. She's a true pioneer lady. I'm complimenting settled and came here, like I said, and back in those days, Juan Carlos, it was not like it is today. When our family moved to Rogers, the population of Rogers was about 4,000. That was 1959.
Oh, wow. Well, 4,000.
4,000. There wasn't a lot going on. Daisy Air Rifle was the biggest thing in town. They were brand new. They were built in 58, 59. And that really revitalized the economy. It was before Walmart. But there was a lot of promise and in those days in Rogers, because there was a lot of future. Beaver Lake was only an idea at that time. The Beaver Water District had been established. When they came here, they knew that the lake was going to be coming in. So the lake you see out in the front was all major pasture land. And my dad raised cattle, and I'm the oldest of 6 children. All 6 were raised in this home. So that's just a little bit of how we got here. And I realize that I've kind of taken this over, so you probably have lots of questions.
No.
But also, of course, this is my wife, Suzanne, and we've also raised our family here in this location as well. The place we call Rivercliff.
Oh, I have to say that this is a beautiful home, such a beautiful location. And Miss Spivey here, Miss Suzanne, was telling me when I arrived that this was pasture land. And folks, for the audience, just to give you an idea, I'm just here sitting at a kitchen table, and you can just see the entire, a portion of Beaver Lake. I don't know. I mean, you can probably see a stone's throw away, and it's a beautiful home. So thank you again for inviting us here. Mrs. Spivey, how are we doing today?
Oh, I'm just doing great. And I'm so happy to have both of you in our home. And
goodness.
Thank you for wanting to interview us. It's an honor.
Yeah, it's also an honor for us too, because you just don't invite anyone into your home, right? And so the fact that you guys thought we were worthy enough to join you in your home and sit at your kitchen table and meet Mr. Spivey, your mother, it's truly an honor for us. We don't take that very lightly. So again, we appreciate you guys letting us here and just know your story, learn more about you guys, and just have a good time together. So again, we're truly grateful. Thank you again.
And I know Miss Addie right now is getting some gin and tonics ready for the group, right? and for the audience here, Miss Addie is joining us today as a witness, as a listener, which is Mr. Joe Spivey's mother, correct? Yes.
Correct.
So she's whipping up those gin and tonics for us. She is amazing. So thank you guys again for that time.
And by the way,
yes,
Juan Carlos and Enrique, I've got a correction to make. It's not Mr. Spivey. It's not Miss Spivey. It's Joe and Suzanne.
Okay.
Joe and Suzanne.
Okay. All righty. I love it. So, Joe, how was your week so far? I always associate the beginning of school time is like the end of summer, right? Even though seasonally it's not the end of summer, but in my mind, I think once school begins, Summer's over. So how's your summer been so far?
We've had a wonderful summer, busy summer. As you all know, yes, I'm with Bank OZK. A lot of people associate that with Bank of the Ozarks, with formerly Bank of the Ozarks, but it's still Bank of the Ozarks, but we are Bank OZK. When we went, we're a very, very large bank. We're in multiple states. And so when we went multi-state, they changed the name to Bank OZK. Yeah, I'm happy to serve our communities as a banker through Bank OZK.
Yeah, I did a quick Google search, and you said you're in several states according to Google. And correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. It says that we're in Arkansas, California, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. Is that?
That is correct. And we are also the largest chartered bank in the state of Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
We're the largest. A lot of people don't realize that we're as large as we are, but we are the largest chartered bank, a multi-service bank. Everything from checking, savings, loans, commercial loans, consumer loans, mortgage loans now. You're in the real estate business.
Yeah, excellent.
And as well as trust and wealth opportunities, treasury management. So we're a $41 billion bank. So
it's a big bank.
It is.
I like that number there. I don't know what that means, but I do know what it means, but And Suzanne, how are you? How was your week? As we're kind of wrapping up summertime a little bit, how's everything been? How's your summer so far?
Well, my summer has been awesome. I've had a lot of family in and out, and that always makes it a wonderful summer for us, or any time that we have family that visit. And, Juan Carlos, as a former teacher, this is always an exciting week. This week I went to a luncheon for the new teachers in the Rogers district. And that was so fun to see so many new faces to our district and see so many of our administrators there welcoming them.
Yes.
But even more important to see leaders at Heritage High School, students who are sophomores, juniors, and seniors welcoming all these new teachers. That was absolutely wonderful. An exciting week. And then tomorrow morning, I am fortunate enough to have been invited by Dr. Perry to attend the Welcome Back Teachers meeting in the morning at Rogers High School. So I'm really excited about that, because as a teacher, I know that's the most exciting time of the year. It's just, you're so excited for the wonderful things and that are going to happen to you and for your students during the school year. It's just an exciting time. So
I like it. That is exciting. Start of school, that's when all the fun begins with the students, right? Yeah.
It is. And the students are excited. The parents are, everybody's excited. You're just excited for the great things that can happen during that school year.
I'm sure half those parents are excited to just drop their kids off at school. And we got to keep it. Here you go.
Yes. Except maybe those children going to kindergarten, those preschool, those mothers are probably like, oh.
I know now, but it's the other, other students are, oh man, those parents are, here you go.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine my nephews, I have two nephews. They don't start school yet. Is it around 5 or 6? Is that when they start school?
Yes.
So next year, my sister's been dreading that age for them. So next year.
It's a new chapter in your life.
For sure.
Formal education begins. It's a new chapter.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree. But yeah, exciting time. It can be a mix of emotions. People can get sad, people can get excited. But Joe and Suzanne, we have here some rapid fire questions, right? All right. So first question: pineapple on pizza, yes or no, Joe?
No.
No.
Oh, wow, man. You know what? It was nice talking to you guys.
Guys, thanks for tuning in to SO NWA. All right. You get one free plane ticket. Where are you going?
France.
Okay. Then?
Well, I'd go to New York to see our daughter.
Oh, that's sweet. That's right. You mentioned she is out in New York. Yeah. There you go.
We've been there a lot. She gets here frequently.
I like the save. I'm going to France. I'm going to see my daughter. I love it. I'm me and you, I think we're alike in that.
Hilarious. All righty. Suzanne, morning person or night owl?
Oh, I am. I'm neither. I like to sleep. I like to sleep late and I like to go to bed early. But I am married into a family of night owls.
Night
Let
owls.
me tell
Okay.
you. And I'll let him talk.
Yeah, so night owl, Joe.
Night owl. I'm a night owl.
Night owl, man. Okay.
I do my best. I work a lot after 9 o'clock.
You know, I feel like it's a good time to work when it's later because there's less distractions. I feel like from the world. I don't know if
Everyone's
that's
asleep.
yeah, everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And I don't sleep a lot.
He doesn't sleep. I need 8 full hours.
What's like an average night's worth of sleep that you get, more or less?
6.
6?
5,
Okay.
probably 5.
5, 6.
Keeping it up, huh?
Alrighty. Favorite local spot in NWA?
Beaver Lake for me.
Oh,
Nice.
I like it.
Beaver Lake.
Beaver Lake.
Home.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, correct. And then one word to describe your family, Joe. What would that be?
Engaging.
Engaging.
Energetic.
There it is.
Yeah, engaging. I would agree with both for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we first met your son John, and then with y'all
Uh-huh.
for sure. I think both are great ways to describe the family.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. So let's get into this. So, you both have built such strong careers in different fields, right? What is the original story of how you two met?
Sure. You want to start, or do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
I'll let you. I'll let you.
Okay. Very traditional. We met in college. Suzanne had a sorority function, and she invited me to the sorority function.
I knew he'd want to tell that.
So she asked me out the first night in her freshman year. I was a sophomore.
How lucky
and
was he?
So, however, I had seen her before.
Oh, don't go into that on this, please.
I will. I had seen her before, and I thought,
No, don't
I
go
would-
into that.
I'd like to ask her out. I thought I'd like to ask her out. So it just so happened that girl that I was hoping that I said that I'd like to ask out just happened to ask me out. And so I thought, okay, here's something I've got to do. I said, sure, I'll go with you as long as you go with me the next night to our fraternity dance.
And that is the truth.
So
That's true.
I
He
locked
did.
that up, and she agreed. And
Thank goodness I liked him because we had 2 dates in a row that weekend.
that's true.
So,
That's
thank
true.
goodness I liked him.
Yeah.
So there.
yeah.
We celebrated 44 years of marriage August 1st.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's
I love it.
amazing.
We're old.
No. I was thinking, I love the date because I was also celebrating our anniversary, my wife's anniversary, but ours is November 1st.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I remember, this is kind of a funny story. I remember when we were choosing the date to get married, right? I was telling my wife, I said, Maritza, I said, let's go with the first. And she's, oh, why do you think first? And I said, man, because the rent's due and the anniversary. So I'll never forget, and it's been great ever since.
That's good.
So the first of every month is anniversary time and the rent's due.
And the rent's
so there
due.
it is. So I like the dates. I like that a lot.
I like that.
That's funny.
That is, yeah.
What a great story. It's when you meet people that way, I think it was very organic in a way, I would say. You guys see each other from afar, and then the world just kind of crossed your paths, and now here we are, 44 years of marriage later.
That's right.
And it's thank you for sharing that story. That's wonderful. And Joe, we mentioned this already from the beginning, but your family's been here in Rogers for a long time. I think John Rex said the lineage can go back about 100 years. Is that correct?
Yeah,
more or
I'd
less?
say so. Sure.
More or less. Okay.
that's-
So you've been
that's
here
fair.
for about 100 years. And then we talked about, your grandfather, he came because he wanted something green. He found Silent Springs. He had the cattle raised here. Is there more information on that, or is that more or less the gist of how
That's more or less, how it happened. It was, they wanted opportunity. I mean, there was, they wanted, there wasn't an opportunity to make a living, and the area out in New Mexico around Rosebud, Mescalero, and Mosquero, New Mexico, was no longer suitable for farming and ranching. In fact, that area is still not suitable. And so it was simply, my grandfather wanted his sons to have an education, and he wanted a better life. And I relate that to many of our immigrant friends, especially our Hispanic friends who've come here to this country for a better life. And I think our family is a bit of a testament to that. When I think about my mother here, my mother's family came to the United States. Her father came here. He was an Armenian immigrant who escaped the Armenian genocide and came to this country seeking a life and a better life and an opportunity. So always appreciative of those families who come here through immigration, seeking a better way of life.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm glad you bring that up because I'm Hispanic. My parents are from Central America, more specifically the country Honduras. And, they immigrated over here, for what you're saying, a better life, right? More opportunity to grow, to give me and my siblings, we're three in total, an opportunity here in the United States. And it's funny, my father would always say him and my mom would try to have children in Honduras, but they just couldn't. It was just not working out. And as soon as my mother got over here, she got pregnant with my older sister. So it was almost kind of meant to be. I think God does things in a certain way. And I think them coming here for a better opportunity just allowed us to have the freedom and the amazing opportunities we have here. So yeah, I can appreciate the homage and the respect towards immigration because I come from that background. So
Absolutely. And, the Ozark, Northwest Arkansas has always been, welcoming, not only to Hispanics, but 1974, 75, we welcomed in Northwest Arkansas, Fort Smith, even up here, the Vietnamese families when during the fall of Saigon, which was basically the end of the Vietnam War, and so we've had a great number of Vietnamese and as well as Laotians who have settled in Northwest Arkansas and throughout Arkansas and made a wonderful life.
Yeah, I think our area is unique in that way where we have that sense of like community and acceptance and enjoying all these different backgrounds. And I'm sure Juan Carlos can agree to that for sure.
As we talk about, the Ozarks and everything, the diversity and the culture that we have in here, it just, this question just popped in my head and kind of where it came from. But John Rex was saying that we were talking about these Ozark values, right? Where did that come from? Where'd you get that from?
I think the kind of the Ozark values really stems back to almost people that have come from the settlers from the East Coast through the West Coast, through the West, Kentucky, West Virginia. Many people settled, came from even Eastern, Europeans, and they along the way, and they settled in really rural, tough areas. And those early day settlers when they came to Arkansas and this area, it was it was a tough area, tough to grow crops, and so I call Ozark some of the Ozark values. People had to work together, and so that's part of the values. Those that come together in they had to pull together, they had to work together. They had to learn how to get along, and they had to share ideas and to make this area what it is today. So I would say the values encompass the working together, sharing ideas, and learning how to get along with others.
Well, that's powerful. Yes. When John Rex had said that during that episode that we did together, I was really taken by it. I've not heard that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, that was the first time we had heard Ozark values.
It's something that I really feel that lives in this area And I think people feel it. I think people, even the new folks that are joining us in this area, feel that Ozark Valley from the natives, or they just get a sense. But it's something that I really want to highlight about this area.
Yeah,
so.
it's we had a guest, Laura Ruoff. She actually moved here maybe 2 years ago, and she came from a place where it was kind of similar to Southern hospitality, I think is what people refer to.
Somewhere around the Dallas area, just outside of Dallas area.
Yeah, and she was worried that it wasn't gonna be, I think, the same sense of community, and then she was surprised that it was even more than where she came from. Right, she was shocked.
You normally don't hear those type of things, right? So it was.
I have a lot of friends who say that they were transferred to Northwest Arkansas probably through Walmart or J.B. Hunter Tyson's, but that their first reaction is, "Oh my goodness, Arkansas," and they get here. They're here for 2 or 3 years, and then they're like, "We're never leaving. We love it." And Addie, Joe's mother, she's a great example of what this community is. She moved here in 1959, born and raised in Boston. And I've often said, Addie, I'm sure it was more foreign to come to Northwest Arkansas in 1959 than to go to India, Calcutta, India, get married there. And she has said, yes, it was. But right now, I will tell you, Addie would tell you, Northwest Arkansas is what she calls home.
Oh.
And it's because of the people here.
It is.
Yeah.
It is the people.
It's when you travel to other cities and bigger cities, you notice a difference, I think, in terms of even just going to the gas station and "Hey, good morning, sir. How are you?" Most people would just walk right past it. As here, 9 times out of 10, they're like, "Oh, I'm great. How are you?" Right? They'll hold the door open for you. And a good way to think about these Ozark Valleys is, I would say, including this or how this started, what's one, I think, family tradition that you guys have, or even a memory that makes both of you guys smile when we think of the Spivey family?
Yeah. I would think that memories, families getting together at Christmas time, winter time, cold, always have special memories of my dad at Christmas time. My father particularly loved Christmas. And he one time told me, he said, Joe, he said, I love Christmas so much. He said, I love everything we do, because he said, I grew up at a time, he said, I grew up in such impoverished conditions. He said, we didn't know what Christmas was. And so later in life, he shared that with me one time. He said, that's why Christmas time means so much to him, because he didn't grow up understanding Christmas.
Well, for our family, I think Christmas is just a wonderful tradition for our family. We go to children's mass on Christmas Eve, and then we come home and we have a nice dinner. And then whoever in our extended family is around will come out Christmas Day for a Christmas dinner, and that's always fun. And also, Thanksgiving is beginning to become one of my favorite traditions we do. We have a lot of extended family, and Addie's always done this over the years. This has been the place that all of our extended family has come, but now I guess I appreciate it more and all the hard work she did, because I'm the one who cooks the turkey now. and I'll tell you about that turkey in a minute. But anyway, we have so many of our people in our extended family come, and it's just nice to have family come and visit. But also just our neighborhood. We live in a wonderful neighborhood, and, Joe was talking about winters. Winter can get pretty cold, and out here, if we get an ice storm, we're out here, and oftentimes we lose power, and our neighborhood has always come together and supported each other. So we have lots of wonderful traditions.
That's pretty neat. I like that answer a lot. Thanksgiving and Christmas, and the neighbors.
Yeah, I feel like that time of year, there's just a lot of, holidays. You got, I don't know if y'all are a big fan of Halloween, right? We have Halloween, then you got Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year's. It's like,
I like to say we're big fans of Halloween, but we're not. I bought candy this year, and
No one showed up.
No one ever shows up here.
don't worry, I'll show up in a costume and I'll come out 5-10 times. Don't worry.
When my children were so young, and the first year I took John Rex trick-or-treating, I'll never forget, and I took him with a neighbor's little boy. We were the only two young couples in River Cliff in our neighborhood, and we knock, or ring a doorbell in the front door, and you could hear the door squeak as it opened because it had not been opened or used, and, and they're like, "Oh, trick-or-treaters." So not a lot of trick-or-treating out here.
Just a lot of boat rides, maybe.
That's right.
Boat rides yeah. So, Suzanne, you were a Rogers Public School teacher for many years. What had inspired you to run for a board seat?
Oh, thank you for asking me that. The Rogers School District gave me a wonderful career. I had the most wonderful students. I had the most wonderful administrators, and the teachers that I taught with are my best friends. And even still today, it was just a chance for me to give back to a school district that gave so much to me and to my family. And also, I felt like a former educator. I truly understood the needs of teachers, but most importantly, the needs of students. And so I felt like it was just an opportunity for me to give back to our community.
Yeah, I would agree that teachers are, I think, one of the forefront of our community. And who was it that said it? I guess they said that teachers probably have more impact than what was it?
Was it Coach Smith?
I think it was either Coach Smith or it was either
was it Christina?
It might have been
Christina.
Well, it was a guest that we had, but they said that teachers, a lot of teachers, maybe, I don't know what they think. I'm not a facilitator, but I think maybe teachers feel they don't have a large impact, but in reality, they truly do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Juan Carlos, we're sitting here with a former facilitator of yours. I've sat down with former facilitators of mine, and it's been 7-8 years since I've been in their class, but I remember everything that the advice they gave me, the way they helped me in those hard times.
The care, the attention, the learning, just the overall experience. There's such an impact as a student. I can remember a handful of teachers, and I forgot which person on the podcast said that, but you just remember how they made you feel.
For sure.
And that's the most.
That's what it's about. It's about relationships. And I will tell you, I've always heard, being in my profession, there's a saying, to teach is to touch a heart. But for me, my heart, and Joe will tell you this, my heart has been touched over and over and over by my students.
Wow.
And most recently, Kip Kruger, and I don't know if you all know Kip or not, his father was Mark Kruger, but anyway, a longtime assistant principal here in Rogers. But Kip called me and he said, after the tornado, he said, "How much damage did you all get?" And I said, "Oh, Kip, don't worry about us. We're just fine." Well, the next day he drove out here, and I didn't even know he drove out here, and he called me and he said, he called me back and he said, "You said you all were okay. Your damage is unbelievable." And he said, "Can I come out and help you on Saturday?" And I was like, "Oh, Kip." He goes, "No, I'll be out there." And he put out on Facebook, I can't remember if he said Mrs. Spivey, she's still alive or what. But I don't know if he said the Spiveys or Mrs. Spivey and need help. Anybody who can help, come out and help that family. And I was embarrassed because so many other people needed help more than we did. But I have to tell you, my heart has never been touched. I had probably 35 to 40 of my former students
Wow.
that I have not seen since they were at Elmwood Junior High.
Wow.
Junior high, not middle school, junior high, come out and help. And several of them said, when I heard it was Mrs. Spivey, I said, yes, I'm going out to help. Now, that touched my heart more than I can ever tell you how much that touched my heart.
Yeah.
I hope I gave them all A's when I had them. One of them, I said, if I didn't give you an A, I'm so sorry. Teaching is a wonderful profession.
Yeah.
And I have so many former students that I am so proud of who've gone on. And I was telling Joe this just this morning, Juan Carlos, you were at Elmwood Junior High.
I was.
And, look at you. I'm so proud of
Thank you. Yeah.
And,
You're so kind.
It's a thing of pride. And to see your students be successful and work hard and have beautiful families and just living life the way it should be lived.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Helping others.
I can't tell you how many times that we're at a restaurant, we're at the grocery store, we're at the mall, or we're out in public and we run into Suzanne's students who come up to her and will say, "Oh, Miss Spivey, hello. And I'm so glad to see you." And Suzanne will say, how happy she is to see them and greets them. And she remembers them. She remembers all of her students.
I wouldn't say all, but I do remember a lot.
She remembers all of them. And she gets in, she'll always ask him, "What are you doing now? And tell me about your family."
Mm-hmm.
And she'll get in the car and she'll say, "I am so proud of my students. And I'm so proud of," and then she'll name that student. She'll say, "I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of him and what he's doing. That makes me feel so good." So that's my wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's
I think that just speaks to your character, who you are at your core. I think the way we walk through life, we impact people just living our day to day. And I think people just coming up to you in a public setting and remembering you and showing you that love, that speaks to your character.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But I have to brag on Joe just a little bit. Joe was
Joe's shaking his head no.
Well, no, I'm going to.
Power couple.
Joe was in college athletics for 15 years at the U of A.
Oh, yes.
And,
Yes.
I have to tell you, one morning, his phone was on the dining room table and he was getting ready for work and his phone rang and I saw this name on it that I recognized as one of his former players. And I picked it up and I said, "Hello." And he said, "I just wanted to call Mr. Spivey and tell him my wife just had a baby." And I wanted him to know. And I'm like, "Oh, that's wonderful. I'll tell him to call you." And I thought, you know what? I don't think I've had a former student call me to tell me they've had a baby yet. But Joe's experienced that same thing of having former students who still call him and come back and see him and who are friends of his today. So we both have been very fortunate that we've been in the field of education.
Sounds like you guys are almost parents, if you will, spiritual, community parents to a lot of students that just, they see you guys as this role model, leaders in the community, and you guys have.
Well, you're being kind to say that.
That's how I kind of, see you guys. So
I always said my time at the University of Arkansas in Razorback athletics, they say how much I gave them, and I say you gave me. I say you gave me far more than I gave you, and so yeah, that was a special time in my life, the career I had at the University of Arkansas and in Razorback athletics.
Joe, I was not aware of that, and I'm definitely interested in it. Just give us a little bit about that. What did you do at the U of A?
So I was the dean of student athletes, and I handled everything, all student affairs operations, everything from financial aid to judicial affairs to academics to residence life was under me, as well as the counseling. So it was just great time in my life, and wouldn't have traded that experience for anything in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, what was the greatest thing that you gained from that? And I said that my former student athletes, still to this day, I have a relationship. They still call me, and that's the greatest thing. And
In fact,
I have a great relationship.
We had one out for
Recently,
a cookout,
so
nice.
a month
we still
ago.
have, that's, but special time, and, to watch, the growth that I got to see, and how proud I am of the men that I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And I told one recently, a former athlete, I said, my time with you was not me over you. It was an association. And I said, we work together.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing you come in as an 18-year-old freshman, scared, and working issues out, being away from home, working through issues sometimes under high pressure situations in athletics, and then to see them, ultimately graduate. One of my favorite pictures I have is graduation day, and I'm standing in the middle, my arms around two guys. They're both 6'5", and they're graduating on graduation day with their diplomas, and I think that meant a lot. I mean, to see that. That's so very, very fortunate, very, very blessed to have been a part of Razorback athletics.
Yeah, I think just being a part of you said from they're 18 and seeing them when they graduate, being a part of that growth and that journey, just even having any impact, I think you appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious, you mentioned that value that you gave them was one of the most fulfilling. I'm curious to know what was the biggest challenge while you were there in your 15-year career.
Yeah, I think the challenge was, as well as opportunities in big time college athletics. Coaches come and coaches go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at college athletics, even then and now, it's a business. Much more so now than it was. But I think the challenges back then were the pressure that's put on student athletes to win. I mean, an extreme amount of pressure, and it's as well as staff, as well as coaches, administrators. So there was always you always had the pressure of getting the players ready to play.
Yep.
Making sure academic eligibility was critical. So those were always the challenges.
So Joe, kind of fast forwarding to now, are the Hogs going to win this year? That's the main question.
Hey, we're Hog fans.
Are we winning this year?
So are we going to win?
You bet.
Yes.
That's the answer.
What do I think? Absolutely. I think we're going to have a good season. I think we're going to have a challenging season.
Okay.
I think that we're going to see a lot of games I think we're going to be in games late in the fourth quarter, and that's what I think. I think we're going to have. I think it's called opportunities to win in the fourth quarter. Let's say that.
We're paired with some pretty tough teams these upcoming games, right? From what I've been seeing online, I don't know.
From what I've read and from what I hear on the radio, Arkansas has the toughest schedule in the Southeastern Conference, if not in the country. One of the toughest schedules in the country.
Right.
When you think about it, first was the third game of the season. We've got Notre Dame rolling into Razorback Stadium.
Yeah,
and they're going to be in. They're probably going to be in the mix for a national championship. When you're looking at Notre Dame, so you've got Notre Dame, you got Texas on the schedule. You've got
Ole Miss.
That's everything.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
September is the second
Ole
game.
Miss.
Third. Yeah.
So
that's funny.
Hey, just we gotta have faith. If you tell Francisco, he's like, man.
I was gonna say I get
Razorback.
I get all my information from Francisco, at the team meetings.
Our team leader, he's the biggest.
Yeah.
Him and his wife, they're the biggest Hog fans. And whenever they have a game, that following Monday morning, we have every Monday we have a team meeting.
Yeah.
The first thing this guy will say is, "So, how about them Hogs?"
How about them Hogs? We'll see what's going on. Oh, but I'll say this: I definitely enjoy, and I've said this before. I enjoy the U of A stadium. I love the team. I enjoy the experience that they provide to all the students and athletes and everything. Sure. It's a great experience. The facilities are clean. Like I said, it's just everything. You can go for a great game, and we have seen great games there too. So it's fun, but it is. It's a
unique environment, isn't it?
We lose the ones we're supposed to win, and we win the ones we're supposed to lose.
That's right.
It is unique, but it's a great time there. I'll be honest. So yeah. Suzanne, as we're kind of wrap up here on a little bit on Rogers Public Schools, but I want to get your perspective on this. What makes Rogers Public Schools unique compared to other districts?
Okay. Our motto. Rogers Public Schools, where all belong, all learn, and all succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe will tell you, my dearest friends, I consider them family, are the educators, teachers in our district, who most of them that I taught with have retired, but we continue to have fabulous teachers and wonderful administrators, and it's just our attitude on our students. Let's help our students succeed, and that is all students need to succeed.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, it's I went to Rogers Public Schools ever since we moved here back in 2008, and I've had been in Rogers ever since then. And so I started in Westside Elementary.
Great school.
And yeah, they were a wonderful school. I love that school.
Mrs. Swearingen was the principal, right? Or was she?
I think so.
Yeah, I think she would have been, because
I had a fifth grade teacher. Her name was Mrs. Baker. I don't know if that name is familiar to you or not.
It is.
She was so wonderful to me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. The last I heard, I don't know what happened to her, but I think I heard that she was an art teacher in one school, but I don't really remember. But
and then you went to Oakdale.
I went to Oakdale. Well, I went to Elmwood, and then halfway through Elmwood, we transferred to Oakdale because we moved different school districts. I think the school district, the border was a little bit. And then from there, I went to Newtek, Rogers Newtek.
Newtek, okay.
Yeah. So I agree. I think all teachers, at least from my experience, most of them had and I say most because not all teachers are created equal, right? But most teachers, 9 times out of 10, they were wonderful. Yeah, had a great experience.
And you're right. While one kid may have loved Mrs. Spivey, another one may have said, "Oh, our personalities don't go together." That happens. That's life.
Sure.
But I think for the most part, most of our teachers really do care about their students, and they're there for the right reason. And I just think we're a very strong district, and we care about kids, and that we're in the business of educating students.
For sure.
And we always remember that's what we're there for.
For sure.
And I also want to throw this out. And our superintendent this year, when we had that tornado, Dr. Perry and our administrators, principals, and I'm not going to start listing names because every one of them and teachers stepped in and said, over summer break, stepped in and said, what can we do to help our community, our students' families? And, it was unbelievable with Dr. Perry leading the charge, but he wasn't the only one. I mean, it was unbelievable how our leadership team and our teachers were at the gym every day. We fed thousands of people for several weeks. We provided so many needs for families that were in need. And that's just another example of what our district stands for, helping people.
I agree.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember too, at one point, my family, we were going through financial troubles, and I was younger. So, I mean, as a young kid, your parents don't tell you that, of course, but as a kid, you notice things here and there. I remember the school would always have a food drive, and they would give me a bag of food from the school, right? Rogers Public Schools, they'd give me a large bag of food. and that would feed our family for 3-4 days. You know, I mean,
Yes.
my parents had a great experience at Rogers Public Schools.
Yes.
I mean, I did.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
No, yeah, and you know, a lot of people probably won't say things like that. Maybe they're embarrassed. I mean, I'm not embarrassed. So I think that builds who you are, puts you where you are in life.
It does.
But that was helpful for me and my family.
Yeah.
It was significant for us to have those meals, those 3-4 days.
Yep.
So yeah, shout out Rogers Public Schools and all the schools that were helpful.
Well, thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that. That's just an example and sharing that.
Yeah, it's praise God, life has blessed us now. But in those times that were tough, we had the help from the community. And
again, shout out to Rogers Public Schools. I've had a great experience with them from going to school with them as well, and even shout out to the facilitators that we've had on, which was Mr. Resendez,
Mr. Resendez,
Principal of Oakdale. We had Coach Smith from Elmwood. He was on, which were both actually two former facilitators for Enrique. And then we had Christina Meister from Grace Hill.
And I heard that podcast.
Yeah, she's
great.
Yes.
She's a great principal.
She is. And then we also did Christian Saavedra.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Heritage soccer coach, right? They
Yes,
just won.
and congratulations to him.
Yeah,
State championship.
And you know, I love his story, and his will come out in actually almost in a few weeks. But he came from El Salvador and came to Elmwood Junior High.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
So his story, and I'd imagine everything that he went through in Rogers Public Schools is also reason where he's at, you know. So
yes.
It's just giving right back. So
shout out
to him. Yep.
Shout out to education. And Joe, you were in education for about 15 years. I'm curious to know, how did your career take you to Bank OZK, and how did that lead to you becoming the senior VP with Bank OZK?
Sure. Well, my undergraduate degree was actually in real estate and finance. I'd never really used it. I was progressing in my career in athletics, where I was at a point in my career where I was going to have to move out of state. Suzanne, I went home one day and I told Suzanne, I said, "Do you want to move to Lubbock, Texas?" And
no.
And we came very close to moving to Lubbock, Texas. I was trying to move up in the world. At the same time, I said, "Okay." She said, "I'm in school here." She said, our son's in school. He's in first grade.
John Rex had started school. And something was tugging at my heart to stay. My father, my parents were older. I'm the oldest of 6. I felt the responsibility, being the oldest, to stay close to home, to stay close to family. And so I said, okay, well, we're going to stay here. We're going to stay at the University of Arkansas. And then one day I was recruited. I was some bankers from Arvest Bank, Mr. Rob Brothers and Dick Trammell. A lot of people in this community know Mr. Community, Northwest Arkansas, walked in and recruited me to banking. And I'll never forget what they said. I said, "I've not done banking." I said, "I've not been a banker." And they said, "We can teach you banking. We can't teach you what you already have." And so, growing up in the real estate business with my father, who was also a real estate developer. And I remember as a child being in bankers' offices, never thinking I would be a banker. But at that time was First National Bank, Rogers, which later became Arvest Rogers. And that's how I got started. Started a brand new career after really having one career in college administration. And I've never looked back since. So I've had the opportunity to have some wonderful experiences and to work with some great people. Also improve lives and change lives. And that's what as a banker, that's what I enjoy. And I enjoy seeing people realize their dreams. Maybe it's a purchase of a home. Maybe it's purchase of a car. Maybe it's purchasing a business. Maybe it's helping their business continue. That gives me great satisfaction. So banking is a service industry. If you like service and you like public service, banking's a way of serving the community. That's how I ended up in banking.
There we go. I love it. Yeah, I think maybe they saw that the impact that you were having with maybe the athletes, and they thought, oh, we could use this guy in our bank. We need him here with us right now. I think maybe that's what was going through their head for sure.
I like that. It was an opportunity, and you took it, and look where it's gotten you now, which has been a blessing, right?
I've been very fortunate, very blessed. Yeah. Banking's also a competitive business, and being in athletics,
you understand.
You want to compete.
Yeah.
Suzanne will tell you every day when I leave here, I want to compete. You want to compete as in real estate. You have that competitive edge. I can tell you, when you were talking about, opening up and saying, hey, I'm in real estate business. And if you need any real estate needs, come, call me.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking about that.
Part of it. No, for sure. And then something that I thought of while you were giving your answer, you made a career switch and it's two different, I think, fields, right? In my opinion. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to somebody who's maybe considering a career switch that would put them in a whole different field? What advice would you have for them in that kind of transition?
Yeah. Carefully weigh the options. Look at your skill set. Look at your basic skill set of what you have to offer, and do a really strong self-assessment of, is this what I want to do? Can I transfer these skills into something else? Mm-hmm. Can I transfer, being an administrator or being a school teacher into being a banker, being, an engineer in the private sector. So, right. Those are things that I think you need to think about, and then just, and carefully weigh it out. Well, and also, am I going to have the opportunity to support my family from this? Right. I think that's very important. And I think you have to look at and I think you have to be a realist. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of people who just has, a wild dream and say, I want to do this. That's great. But are you going to be able to support yourself and your family? And are you going to be able to create that better life?
Right. Yeah. You need to see maybe like you said, a realistic, but beneficial path that'll lead you to a career that you'll enjoy, that'll give you the fruits of your labor, where you can take care of yourself and most importantly your family. So those are good points. I think for anyone, that was good advice even for me. Just life advice. I think was good. So thank you for sharing that.
Certainly.
We appreciate it.
You were asking about, what advice would you give for, young professionals coming to Northwest Arkansas? What should they do? I will tell you what I think they should do. Get involved. Be involved in the community. Get involved. Join a club. I'm a member of the Rogers Rotary Club. I've been a member of it for many, many years. I've been past president of it. Somebody asked me at one time, they were just moved here from out of state, and they said, what do we need to do to get involved? I said, join a club. Get involved in a service organization, and the Rogers Rotary Club. It's a great networking club. It's a scholarship club. It's a service club. We do a lot of things for the schools. We have international service. We have community service, and get to know Rotary. But basically, get involved. I always tell the story of my father. My father, when he moved here, for a long time, he never felt accepted in the Rogers community for a long time, until one day a gentleman invited him to Rotary. And then he joined the Rotary Club, was invited to be in the Rotary Club. Mm-hmm. And he told me, he said, Joe, I didn't feel a part of the community until I was invited to be a Rotarian. And he said, and that kind of kicked off his desire for community service and giving back to the community.
Yeah, I think having some sense of connection with people, or even just a specific community, is a great way to, one, just meet new people, and then two, on top of that, you're growing your net worth, and you can have more impact and more value. And the more value you give, I think that you impact people. I think that they can appreciate that. They can see the value they give, and in turn, they'll want to give you some of their value as well. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great way to grow and plant these little seeds all throughout our community.
Yeah, that's real important. Yeah. We had John Rex earlier in the podcast, and, he shared some great stories while he was with us. But what's it like, as parents, to see and to follow such a unique career path that he has chosen or has been in.
Yeah.
How has that been for you guys?
I want Suzanne.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. He has had a wonderful career path. And I will say this about John Rex. He worked so hard to be on that career path, going to the Naval Academy. He worked so hard to get accepted. He worked hard to stay there. And he called me one day and he said, "Mother, I think I'm going to run for class president." And I said, "Oh, you'll lose." And he won. I was a good mother there, cheering him on. But, and then he decided he wanted to maybe try flight school, and he got accepted into flight school. He worked hard to achieve that dream. And, I would say both of us are very proud of him for his service and how hard he worked to get there and what he did in his service. So we're very proud of him, very humbled.
Wow. No, I can only imagine as parents to see all the impact that he's made, from overseas to his military career to what he's brought back. And
we are proud of him.
Yeah.
And as his mother, I can tell you, life has not always been easy for him. He had to work for everything he got. He worked hard for it. So with that being said, I think Joe and I are both very proud of what he's done.
We are, absolutely. He saw an opportunity at an early age, and he was fortunate to be around people
exactly
who had been to service academies, and the Air Force Academy was one, Naval Academy.
And he had a lot of really, excuse me, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to say this. He had a lot of wonderful mentors. People in this in this community who always helped him.
Yeah, and I think that's important for people in this to know, like on this podcast. You never know when you're making a difference in someone's life. And whether it's, as you mentioned, Enrique, sometimes it's the most important people that have made the biggest difference in your life are not, may not be parents. More than likely, it's going to be a teacher, a coach, a scoutmaster, a pastor. But, teachers are some of the greatest influencers. They are the mentors. He had some wonderful teachers in the Rogers Public Schools who were tremendous mentors to him and made such a big difference in his life, and also is encouraging him. He also was involved in scouting, the scouting program as well. He was fortunate to graduate from the U.S. Naval Academy and then become a Navy helicopter pilot. So.
Yeah, whenever we first had him on and he mentioned his service, we were, I always thank anyone who's been in the military, thank them for their service, because they risk, their lives, right, to do what they do to defend our country, and to, so the fact that your son was willing to do that and succeed in that field, my respects to him are very high. So I thank him. I thank him a lot for his service.
100%. Yeah.